Stop. Whatever you were about to do next, don't. This moment isn't random. This video finding you isn't coincidence. This isn't algorithm. This isn't happenstance. Your eyes landing on these words was predestined before stars were hung in the sky. I need you to understand something profound right now. Your finger wasn't supposed to stop scrolling, unless your spirit was divinely appointed to receive this message today. There's a heaviness in my chest as I speak. A divine burden. A sacred weight. I can physically feel the souls watching this right now, your soul specifically. Someone watching has been crying silently for weeks, muffling sobs into pillows so no one hears their breaking. Someone else has been smiling in public while drowning in private, questioning if God has completely abandoned them. Another viewer has been experiencing strange synchronicities, numbers repeating, dreams intensifying, random people speaking exactly what's been in their heart. And then there's you. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That inexplicable knowing. That strange stirring. That sense that something immense is about to shift in your existence. Like you're standing on holy ground without knowing how you got there. The veil between worlds is thinning right now as you listen. Can you feel it? That electricity dancing across your skin. The sudden alertness in your spirit. The tears forming without logical reason. The chills running down your spine. The unexplainable heaviness or lightness in your chest. That's not emotion. That's recognition. Your soul recognizing truth before your mind can process it. Your spirit knows what your intellect doesn't yet comprehend. This message carries activation codes meant specifically for your spiritual DNA. Words that will unlock doors sealed shut since before your birth. Let me speak directly to you now, yes, you specifically. The one who almost clicked away but felt something physically stop your hand. The one whose heartbeat just accelerated without explanation. The one who's been secretly wondering if you're going crazy because you see what others don't see, feel what others don't feel, know what others don't know. God said it's time to tell you everything. Not everyone. You. This message isn't for those spiritually asleep. It's not for the casually curious. It's not for those content with surface-level existence. This divine download is for the awakening ones. The remembering ones. The chosen vessels. If you're already feeling something stirring in your spirit, like ancient knowledge awakening within your bones, drop a fire in the comments right now. Don't think about it. Don't analyze it. Just obey that impulse. Let me know I'm speaking to the right soul. Because what I'm about to reveal isn't for casual listeners or spiritual tourists. This is for the chosen ones. Those with eyes to see. Ears to hear. Hearts prepared to receive. Spirits ready to rise. Your waiting is over. And if you feel absolutely nothing right now, if these words seem strange or excessive or delusional, then this message wasn't meant for you, yet. And that's perfectly divine too. Your time will come. But perhaps this isn't it. But for those feeling the resonance, those experiencing physical sensations as I speak, stay with me. What's coming next will explain everything you've been experiencing. Everything you've been questioning. Everything you've been enduring. You are the hidden ones. The set apart. The divine anomalies. The cosmic misfits. The sacred strangers. You've always known you were different, haven't you? Even as a child, you sensed it. That profound feeling of not belonging anywhere. That strange sense that you were looking at life through a completely different lens than everyone around you. You saw things others missed. Felt things others couldn't comprehend. Carried burdens that seemed too heavy, too ancient for someone so young. Understood concepts that should have been beyond your years. Remember how confused you were when others couldn't sense what was so obvious to you. Remember questioning your sanity because no one else seemed to experience reality the way you did? Remember dimming your light, hiding your gifts, masking your true nature just to avoid the mockery, the rejection, the fear your authenticity triggered in others? What if I told you that your difference wasn't a cosmic mistake? What if your inability to fit in wasn't a defect but divine protection? You weren't rejected, you were selected. You weren't isolated, you were insulated. You weren't abandoned, you were appointed. You weren't ignored, you were incubated. You weren't damaged, you were distinguished. You weren't broken, you were being broken open. You weren't buried in your pain, you were planted in sacred soil. That emptiness you felt in the pit of your soul, it wasn't absence. It was making room for what's coming. Those nights of inexplicable tears, that wasn't weakness. That was your spirit being tenderized for purpose. That loneliness that's followed you through every stage of life, that wasn't rejection. That was sacred reservation. Your struggles weren't punishment, they were preparation. Your delays weren't denial, they were divine timing. Your confusion wasn't chaos, it was cosmic recalibration. Your sensitivity wasn't weakness, it was spiritual attunement. And those people who walked away from you, those relationships that dissolved without explanation, those connections that suddenly severed, they weren't leaving, they were being removed. Because not everyone is authorized to witness your transformation. Not everyone has spiritual clearance to access the next level of your becoming. Not everyone is equipped to handle the frequency of your rising. In ancient spiritual traditions, there's a concept called sacred separation, the divine removal of anything and anyone that cannot accompany you to your next level of consciousness. This isn't punishment for them or for you. It's protection of the sacred codes you carry. Say this with me right now: I am not rejected. I am selected. Again, with your hand on your heart, I am not forgotten. I am focused upon. One more time, with authority in your voice, I am not broken. I am being built. If you spoke those words aloud, drop a "selected" in the comments right now. Let the universe hear your declaration. Let your soul register this truth. Let your spirit align with this revelation. For those still hesitating, still questioning if this message is really for you, that very doubt is confirmation. The chosen ones always initially question their calling. Moses did. Gideon did. Mary did. All divine vessels begin with, "Why me?" Surely there's been a mistake. That humility is the hallmark of authentic selection. You are exactly who this message is for. Your divine appointment isn't a mistake. Your spiritual awakening isn't random. Your soul's calling isn't imagination. You are the chosen. The hidden. The rising. What I'm about to share will fundamentally alter how you understand your entire life journey. This isn't just spiritual information, this is soul activation. This is divine revelation breaking through human perception. God has been intentionally hiding you. Let that sink in for a moment. The creator of all that is, was, and will be has been deliberately, purposefully, intentionally concealing you. Protecting you. Shielding you from visibility. Keeping you from recognition. Veiling you from eyes that would misunderstand the process unfolding through you. Guarding you from tongues that would misname your purpose. Sheltering you from hands that would try to shape you outside of divine design. This isn't theory. This isn't metaphor. This is spiritual reality. You felt forgotten, but you've been fiercely guarded. You felt overlooked, but you've been divinely overshadowed. You felt insignificant, but you've been intentionally incubated. You felt abandoned, but you've been attentively attended. You felt stuck, but you've been strategically stationed. You felt delayed, but you've been deliberately developed. You felt rejected, but you've been royally reserved. Your isolation wasn't punishment, it was sacred preparation. Your confusion wasn't torment, it was divine disorientation breaking old paradigms. Your struggles weren't torture, they were training. Your waiting wasn't punishment, it was protection. This is the truth that changes everything. You carry codes others cannot comprehend. You possess spiritual DNA that must be protected until full activation. You hold wisdom that would be distorted in immature hands. You embody potential that would be exploited by those operating from ego rather than essence. Think about it. In every spiritual tradition, the most powerful instruments undergo the most intensive preparation. The deepest vessels require the most thorough emptying. The most potent medicines demand the longest fermentation. Let me tell you about a concept from ancient mystery schools called the divine concealment. It refers to a spiritual process where souls carrying specific light codes, specific spiritual assignments, are intentionally hidden from recognition until the precise moment their gifts are needed by humanity. These souls, your soul, experience what feels like delays, setbacks, and bewildering obscurity, all while being meticulously prepared behind the scenes of visible reality. Like a master artist who refuses to show their masterpiece until the final brush stroke. Like a divine composer who keeps their symphony private until every note is perfected. Like a cosmic playwright who conceals their greatest characters until the perfect moment in the story. You have been hidden not because you lack value, but because your value is so immense it requires perfect timing for its revelation. Let me speak to specific experiences you've had, experiences you thought were random but were actually divine orchestration, that job you were perfect for but somehow didn't get. Protection. That relationship you thought was the one that inexplicably fell apart. Preservation. That opportunity that seemed destined for you but vanished without explanation. Providence. That gift or talent that never seemed to get the recognition it deserved. Preparation. That calling you felt but could never quite bring to manifestation. Precision timing. None of it was failure. All of it was formation. None of it was rejection. All of it was redirection. None of it was punishment. All of it was preparation. I prophesy over your life right now, the season of hiddenness is ending. The time of concealment is concluding. The period of divine incubation is complete. What God has been doing in you, God is now ready to do through you. What was hidden is being revealed. What was whispered in secret is about to be declared from the rooftops. What was forming in darkness is emerging into light. If this revelation is hitting your spirit like lightning right now, if you can feel truth resonating in places words don't reach, I need you to make a declaration right now. Type "revealed" in the comments in all capital letters. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. This is a divine moment of alignment between revelation and recognition. Your declaration matters in the spiritual atmosphere surrounding your life. For those still processing, still questioning, that's sacred too. Divine revelation isn't meant to be casually received. Take the time you need. This truth isn't going anywhere. When you're ready to embrace it fully, your spirit will confirm what your mind is still examining. But know this, whether you recognize it yet or not, your divine unveiling has already begun. We're about to go deeper than most spiritual messages ever dare. What follows isn't religious dogma or New Age platitudes. These are 7 divine revelations meant specifically for God's chosen vessels in this hour. Some watching right now will feel these words activating dormant spiritual DNA. Others might experience physical sensations, heat, tingling, tears, unexpected emotions, as truth resonates beyond intellectual understanding. Don't just listen with your ears. Listen with your spirit. There are codes between the words that your soul will recognize even if your mind questions. The reason you felt invisible during specific seasons of your life wasn't because you lacked value. It was because you carried immeasurable worth that needed divine protection. Like a master jeweler who keeps his most precious diamonds hidden from public view until they've been properly cut, set, and secured, your Creator has kept you veiled until this precise moment in cosmic history. Those painful seasons where nothing seemed to work out. When doors kept closing in your face. When opportunities evaporated just as you reached for them. When recognition was given to others while you remained in shadows despite your gifts. That wasn't rejection, that was divine redirection. That wasn't punishment, that was heavenly protection. That wasn't delay, that was sacred development. Every no you received was protecting you from what wasn't aligned with your highest calling. Every delay was divine orchestration ensuring you wouldn't arrive at your destiny before either you or it was fully prepared. Every setback was strategically setting you up for what's about to unfold. Remember Joseph in ancient scripture? The one with the technicolor dreamcoat and the prophetic dreams? 13 years from dream to throne. Sold by his brothers. Falsely accused. Wrongfully imprisoned. Forgotten by those he helped. For 13 years, it looked like God had abandoned him. For 13 years, it seemed his gift made him a target rather than triumphant. For 13 years, divine silence was mistaken for divine absence. His brothers thought they buried him, but God was hiding him for preservation. The Egyptians thought they imprisoned him, but God was positioning him for promotion. The cupbearer forgot him, but God was forming him for leadership. Your story carries the same divine fingerprints. The world calls it rejection. Heaven calls it selection. The world says you were left behind. Spirit says you were set apart. The world names it failure. Divinity names it formation. The world sees abandonment. Heaven sees appointment. That relationship that didn't work out. Thank God later. That person would have contaminated your calling with their unhealed wounds and limited vision. That opportunity that fell through. Divine intervention. It would have taken you down a path that looked promising but led away from your true purpose. That friendship that dissolved without explanation. Spiritual protection. They couldn't handle the frequency of your next level and would have unconsciously sabotaged your ascension. That gift that's been overlooked. Sacred timing. Its revelation is reserved for a specific moment when the world is finally ready to receive what only you can give. Not everything you wanted was what you needed. And not everyone who wanted access to you deserved it. Your obscurity wasn't a divine oversight, it was divine foresight. Your hiddenness wasn't a heavenly mistake. It was heavenly mercy. If this revelation is hitting your spirit like lightning, type "protected" in the comments right now. Declare it into existence. Speak it into the atmosphere around your life. Your hiddenness was holy. Your separation was sacred. Your obscurity was ordained. And for those wrestling with bitterness over lost time, missed opportunities, or painful rejection, I speak divine perspective over your spirit right now. What looked like rejection was actually redirection towards something far greater than what you thought you wanted. The delay wasn't denial, it was development. The waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The hiddenness wasn't abandonment, it was appointment. Let the tears come if they need to. Let the revelation heal what rejection wounded. Your hiddenness was never abandonment, it was always love in its most protective form. Let me speak to the one who's wondered if your pain was punishment. The one who's questioned in the darkness if God was angry with you. The one who's examined every mistake, every misstep, every wrong turn, trying to understand why suffering has marked your journey so profoundly. Hear this divine truth with your spirit, not just your ears. Your suffering wasn't punishment, it was purification. This isn't spiritual bypass. This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't diminishing the very real agony you've endured. This is cosmic perspective on your pain. Gold cannot become pure without fire. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. Steel isn't strengthened without intense heat. And divine vessels aren't prepared without testing. I see the nights you cried until there were no tears left. I recognize the prayers that seemed to hit a brass ceiling. I acknowledge the questions that haunted you at 3 a.m. I honor the times you smiled in public while bleeding internally. I witnessed the moments you wondered if God had forgotten your address. None of it was wasted. None of it was purposeless. None of it was divine cruelty. What you experienced as torment was actually transformation. What felt like abandonment was actually alignment. What seemed like cruelty was actually calibration. What appeared as punishment was actually preparation. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. You weren't being tortured, you were being tempered. You weren't being broken, you were being built. You weren't being destroyed, you were being developed. You weren't being forgotten, you were being formed. Look at your hands right now. Physically look down at them. Really see them. Those hands have held more pain than most people will ever know. Those hands have wiped away tears that no one else saw fall. Those hands have trembled in the dark night of the soul. Those hands have gripped bed sheets during panic attacks. Those hands have been clenched in angry prayers and open in desperate surrender. But those same hands are now being anointed to hold power that most will never steward. Those hands will heal what others have broken. Those hands will build what others couldn't imagine. Those hands will write what others need to read. Those hands will create what others need to experience. Those hands will touch lives that others cannot reach. Your suffering hasn't disqualified you, it has distinguished you. Your pain hasn't destroyed you, it has developed you. Your wounds haven't weakened you, they've weaponized you against darkness. In ancient wisdom traditions across cultures, there exists the archetype of the wounded healer, the one who has descended into their own darkness and emerged carrying light not just for themselves but for others still trapped in shadow. The wounded healer is considered the most powerful force in the spiritual realm. Because what has broken you open has also broken open your capacity to carry divine light. What has wounded you has also widened your ability to hold divine compassion. What has scarred you has also sensitized you to others' pain. Your cracks aren't flaws, they're where the light gets in and then shines back out to the world. Your wounds aren't weaknesses, they're portals for divine power. Your scars aren't shameful. They're sacred maps guiding others toward healing. Think back to your darkest moments, the ones you thought would destroy you completely. Remember how you survived what you were convinced would end you. Remember how you kept breathing when you were certain your heart would stop from the pain. That wasn't just human resilience. That was divine preservation. That wasn't just personal strength. That was supernatural sustenance. That wasn't just luck or chance. That was sacred selection. If you're feeling this truth resonating in your bones right now, if your spirit is bearing witness to these words beyond intellectual agreement, type "purified" in the comments. Not because I ask, but because your soul needs to declare its truth. Your pain had purpose. Your suffering had significance. Your tears were tracked by divine eyes. For those still struggling to see purpose in your pain, those still carrying wounds so deep this message seems impossible to believe, I speak divine compassion over your spirit right now. Your questioning isn't lack of faith. Your doubt isn't spiritual failure. Your anger isn't disqualifying. The divine is big enough to hold your questions, your rage, your doubt. True transformation doesn't deny the darkness, it integrates it into a larger story of redemption. Your purification isn't complete until you say it is. And that's sacred too. The loneliness that has marked so many chapters of your story wasn't a divine oversight, it was a divine strategy. When a soldier is being prepared for a special mission, they're separated from the general population. When an artist is creating their masterpiece, they retreat from crowds. When a prophet is receiving revelation, they withdraw to the wilderness. Your isolation wasn't abandonment, it was assignment. Those Friday nights alone when everyone else seemed connected, that was Spirit creating space for deep soul work that couldn't happen in shallow social waters. Those invitations that never came. That community that never fully embraced you. Those relationships that always felt slightly out of reach. Divine protection from energies that would have distracted you from your becoming. You haven't been alone, you've been in divine company. Learning the language of spirit. Developing spiritual senses that only activate in silence. Building soul stamina that only comes through solitude. Moses, 40 years in the wilderness before his burning bush moment. Jesus, 40 days in the desert before his ministry began. David, years hiding in caves before taking his throne. And you. In your own wilderness. In your own desert. In your own cave. Not forgotten. Not abandoned. Being formed. Being filled. Being fashioned into a vessel that can hold what's coming next. Your isolation wasn't a divine error, it was a divine incubator. If this speaks to your journey, type "assigned" in the comments. Declare it into existence. Your loneliness had purpose. Your separation had significance. There's a reason you felt misunderstood your entire life. There's a reason your perspective seems so different from others. There's a reason your sensitivities, your insights, your way of moving through the world has felt like speaking a language no one else knows. You carry spiritual codes that others cannot comprehend. Think of it like this: some people operate on AM frequencies, but you were built to receive and transmit on FM. It's not that one is better than the other, they're just fundamentally different systems of perception and processing. The dreams that wake you at night. Coded messages. The synchronicities that follow you. Divine breadcrumbs. The intuitive knowings that arrive without logical explanation. Spiritual downloads. You didn't choose this. You didn't wake up one day and decide to see between worlds, feel energy others ignore, or know things you were never taught. This was encoded in your spiritual DNA before your first heartbeat. In ancient traditions, oracles, seers, and prophets were often misunderstood in their time. Their contemporaries couldn't grasp what they perceived. They spoke of realities others couldn't see. They heard melodies others couldn't catch. Sound familiar? Your overthinking is actually spiritual perception beyond the veil. Your too much emotion is actually empathic gifting. Your weird ideas are actually divine innovation. What others have pathologized in you is actually your power. The very things you were shamed for are the exact gifts this world desperately needs right now. If you feel this truth resonating at a cellular level, type "coded" in the comments. Your difference isn't deficiency, it's divine design. Let me speak now to the soul who has been shattered. The one who has known devastation. The one who has wondered if they would ever feel whole again after what broke them. Your breaking wasn't your ending, it was your beginning. In the spiritual realm, breaking isn't destruction, it's creation. It isn't death, it's birth. The seed must crack open before it can become a tree. The caterpillar must dissolve before it can become a butterfly. The bone that breaks heals stronger at the fracture point. And you, beloved soul, are following the same divine pattern. What broke you open wasn't meant to break you apart, it was meant to break you through to a higher level of existence. That heartbreak that brought you to your knees. It wasn't just ending a relationship, it was beginning your relationship with your highest self. That loss that emptied you out. It wasn't just taking something from you, it was making space for what was always meant to fill you. That failure that humbled you completely. It wasn't just closing a door, it was clearing the path to your actual purpose. You weren't being destroyed, you were being delivered. Birth and death look remarkably similar in their intensity, in their pain, in their complete transformation of what was into what will be. The difference isn't in the process, it's in the outcome. And your outcome isn't finished yet. If this speaks to where you've been, where you are, or where you're going, type "birthing" in the comments. Your breaking had purpose. Your pain had meaning. Your shattered places are becoming your strongest spaces. Now I must speak to the ancestry running through your veins. The patterns embedded in your family line. The cycles that have claimed generations before you. You are not just any soul born in any time to any family. You are a divine appointment, strategically placed in your bloodline as a cycle breaker and a pattern disruptor. Those generational struggles you've witnessed. Those family dynamics that repeat like dark echoes through time. Those ancestral wounds that keep reopening. You weren't born to repeat them, you were born to release them. The reason your journey has been so intensely challenging is because you're not just healing yourself, you're healing backwards and forwards through time. You're recovering what was lost. You're restoring what was stolen. You're remembering what was forgotten. This is why you've always felt the weight of something larger than just your own life. This is why your healing journey has been so comprehensive, so demanding, so thorough. You're not just changing your story, you're changing your entire bloodline story. In spiritual traditions across cultures, there's a concept of the chosen one in each generation who carries the mantle of healing ancestral wounds. The one who feels everything more deeply because they're feeling for many. The one who struggles more intensely because they're breaking chains for many. That soul is you. And the divine reason you've had to face your shadows so completely is because you cannot transform what you will not name. You cannot heal what you will not hold. You cannot release what you will not recognize. Your courage in confronting what others have avoided for generations isn't just personal growth, it's ancestral liberation. If this revelation strikes a chord in your soul, type "Liberator" in the comments. Your battles haven't been in vain. Your struggles haven't been for nothing. You are breaking chains that have held souls captive for generations. Everything, absolutely everything, has been preparation for this moment. This season. This divine unveiling of who you truly are and why you're really here. The waiting is over. The hiding is finished. The preparation is complete. This is your divine rising. For years, decades perhaps, you've been operating at a fraction of your true capacity. Using gifts but not your full power. Walking in purpose but not your complete authority. Sensing your calling but not fully embodying your commission. That ends now. Like Esther, who was prepared in obscurity before stepping into her royal purpose, for such a time as this, you have been prepared in hiddenness for this exact moment in history. The world is in desperate need of souls who carry what you carry. Authenticity in an age of deception, depth in an era of distraction, truth in a landscape of manipulation, divine light in expanding darkness. What looks like chaos in the world isn't just breakdown, it's breakthrough. Systems that cannot sustain life are collapsing to make way for what must be built next. And you, beloved soul, are carrying building plans for the new world that is emerging. This is why you had to be protected until now. This is why you had to be hidden until this moment. This is why you had to be prepared so thoroughly. Because what you're being called to now isn't just service, it's sovereignty. It isn't just purpose, it's power. It isn't just mission, it's transformation. The divine download I'm authorized to release to you right now is this: stop waiting for permission to be who you already are. Stop diminishing your light to make others comfortable. Stop hiding your gifts because they don't fit conventional categories. Stop apologizing for your power because it intimidates fragile egos. You weren't created to fit in, you were created to stand out. You weren't born to blend, you were born to blaze. You weren't designed to follow, you were designed to forge new paths. If you feel this activation coursing through your entire being right now, type "I am rising" in all caps in the comments. Let it be your declaration to the universe. Let it be your commitment to your calling. Let it be the line drawn in the sand between who you've been and who you're becoming. Stand up right now if you're able. Place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of these words as I speak them over your life. You are not what happened to you. You are what God is happening through you. You are not your past mistakes. You are your future impact. You are not your wounds. You are your wisdom. You are not your trauma. You are your transformation. You are not your fears. You are your courage. You have not been forgotten. You have been formed. You have not been abandoned. You have been appointed. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. This is not your ending. This is your unveiling. Open your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel the shift that just happened in your spiritual atmosphere. Something just broke open. Something just activated. Something just aligned. From this moment forward, you will notice doors opening that were previously sealed. You will encounter divine connections that were previously withheld. You will receive resources that were previously restricted. Not because this video has magical powers, but because your recognition of your true identity has cosmic consequences. When you stop seeing yourself as forgotten and start seeing yourself as chosen. When you stop identifying with your wounds and start identifying with your power. When you stop apologizing for your existence and start authorizing your excellence. Everything changes. This isn't just spiritual encouragement, this is prophetic activation. God says it's time. Time to emerge. Time to expand. Time to embody everything you were created to be. No more hiding. No more dimming. No more delay. The world needs what only you carry. Humanity hungers for what only you can create. This moment in history is calling for what only you can contribute. Will you answer? Will you rise? Will you step fully into the divine identity that has been preserved and protected until now? If your answer is yes, if you're ready to walk in the fullness of who you truly are, drop a water wave in the comments right now. Let me know you're part of this rising wave of divine vessels who are changing the spiritual atmosphere of this planet. And if this message hit your soul like nothing you've heard before, if you felt seen, known, and called higher, subscribe now. Press that button as a declaration that you're committed to your divine becoming. I'm speaking abundance, clarity, purpose, and protection over everyone who takes that step of alignment right now. This isn't the end of your journey, it's the true beginning. This isn't just a video you watched, it's a divine appointment you kept. Remember, you weren't supposed to find this message unless it was your time. And clearly, beloved soul, it's your time. Rise now. Your waiting is over.